know, services are very different.
I was also for these types of reporting, generation of reports, very much for the, I don't know exactly how to do that, but to have some adjustment to every type of person individually, and to have some quick analysis of his patterns and then adjust these functions. But the justification we have for using this scale is that, well, we want to present some kind of report to the customers, and the idea is that when you are on the street and you are talking about somebody about during the morning I was doing this and this and that, or during the night I was doing this and this and that, even if he is a farmer or from different groups, different social groups, there is some coherence or some common idea of what a morning should be when I'm talking to somebody else.
This is an impression or an experiment?
So you get this value by experimenting with different people about what do you think is morning, what do you think is midday?
No, this is decided.
But in addition to that, what Henrik said, this has to be transferable to other countries, and that is a very Spanish scale.
I also put that here. This is very different for Dutch people.
If you give a talk in England or in Germany, nobody will say that tonight will start at 24.
Yes.
Even in Spain is very, even for Spain 24 is too late.
So communication is not possible, but with the scale you have to transfer it, or maybe to move or to.
But the problem is during the same week, it's not the same Wednesday than Friday or Saturday.
I would like to clarify this. I think that you are in a mistake. That is not exactly the problem. The problem is that when we use natural language to express something, the meaning of what we are saying always, the machine also is involved in this topic, depends on context. And then what we must think is that that machine considers that morning is that, and as equate any other people. We know we are listening an expert that is speaking about the reconsumption in Europe, and for that expert, morning is that. Maybe we are trying to do the more meaningful for the rest of people, but it's impossible to speak to everyone with the meaning they have, because we don't know that meaning.
You try to change each one, not by groups of people.
Yes, but anyway that is not, the problem is that we must accept that
the Nueva España, the journal, has several editions in Asturias. One specific for Cuencas Mineras, another one for the central part of for Oviedo, for Gijón, for the east, for the west.
This
is a kind of adaptation to what interests people. And I don't believe that for people working, I don't know, in Picos de Europa, the sequence of the hours is the same as a person living in Gijón.
I agree, but
more again in winter, more again in summer.
But in the weather broadcast, the man
because it is supposed that the message, the verbal, the written message you will send to people should be understood by people, and should be understood by people in his own context. If you send me a message in the context of a person working in Picos de Europa, I will not understand, fully understand the message. And this is not free. This is a suggestion. I suppose that this needs, again, some experimentation. For example, the messages you pass in the last slide are not clear at all. If people is unable to understand the first, this block of electricity, I don't believe that people will understand all that. Most of the people, for example, in the rural areas, will have difficulties to understand that. Maybe for a lack in the management of language. Then I think that the idea is, I think that the idea is excellent. But I suppose that this needs experimentation. This needs to be contrasted with reality.
The difficulty also that we encountered is that it's very, very difficult to justify these sentences, because you have a series of data and you can plug the data really nicely with MATLAB and all these tools, But how would you, from that plot of data, how to justify exactly that about 2/3 of the days your consumption is low during the mornings? That is quite difficult to do.
I mean,
Not with
it's not that difficult, I think. If you want to say, if you want, you can plot, you say 2/3 of the day comes out in the morning, and you plot a diagram with mornings, and you say hours, so you put the value during the morning, in the days, and you should see that 2/3, so most of the points will be in this side than in the other side. You know, you should be able to plot it in a way that you can see. It is true that 2/3 of the days that comes out in the morning is lower, because you can plot the points that is how many in blue the points that are lower, and in red that the plot the points that are higher, and you should see most of them are red, and 2/3 are red, and 1/3 should be blue. If the sentence is true, you should be able to plot.
Yes, yeah, actually I made those types of, or a similar type of plot, but also with these colors. But I don't have that here in my, and then you can visually also see that it is in that way. But you are going to send this to a customer who doesn't have any understanding of the signal that we are starting with, which is a fluctuating thing like that.
But
this is supposed to be a sentence which is going to describe in his terms what his energy consumption is like. But you have no real way of knowing how he would describe his energy consumption, which he doesn't know.
But then you need to make a survey about customers. There is no other way to know what they know.
Yeah, but this means you have to start by clustering the clients. This is very, very difficult, because with 35 it's impossible.
I mean, with 35 you cannot cluster. No, you should send to the users, like I will send like a survey. Do you understand these sentences? What that means for you?
You have a problem because users don't want to answer this kind of polls or this kind of...
But it's for volunteers.
Claudio, please.
Take turns. I would like to distinguish different things that we're discussing here. One is the main idea, to try to translate abstract numbers into less abstract sentences. Okay. Ideally, of course, every client of this company should receive a message that he or she perfectly understands. That's impossible. If you send that to me, probably I will understand. My neighbor is a taxi driver. I'm sure he doesn't understand anything about that, but he would probably better understand the round scheme, that the first thing that you showed. And the one that is living 2 floors below mine, it has a small fruit shop. I wonder whether he or she would know this or the other one. It is impossible to have specific for each client a way of describing what's happening with the energy consumption. Unless you were able to identify and characterize every single person. It is not the case of the Cuencas, because you offer, and the one that wants to read it by that particular issue and not the other one. I am coming with the train all these days because the buses are still on strike. And you see, in Oviedo, I take the train early in the morning, and the train comes full from people that live in Gijón and work in Oviedo. So they are living in one place and working in totally different areas. And you cannot classify those who live in Gijón are all surfers. No, some do. The others come and work here. We have one who is here with Gijón. And so the problem in that sense is impossible. So you have to take some pragmatical compromise. We cannot do more personal than at this level. This is one point. But the message should be true, should be consistent, should be as clear as possible, so that the average people, whatever that means, will be able to have this kind of information. Can you show again that the very first step to show this ABCD, the text for A